The Michigan High School Athletic Association and Pass Sports present the Boys Basketball Finals. Today's broadcast of the MHSAA Finals is made possible by Farm Bureau Insurance, sponsor of the MHSAA Scholar Athlete Award, True Value Hardware, promoting good sportsmanship through the Good Sports Are Winners program, the Michigan Abstinence Partnership, and the Coca-Cola Bottling Company of Michigan. Always a great pick. Always Coca-Cola.
From the BRESLIN Student Events Center in East Lansing, the Michigan High School Athletic Association presents the Class B championship game in the 1995 boys basketball tournament between the Yellowjackets of Detroit Country Day and the Pioneers of East Grand Rapids. Hi again, everyone. Rick Berkey here, and we're set for the fourth and final game of our championship on the day. In case you're just joining us, well, where have you been? We've had 3 champions crowned already. Let's take a look back and see what's already transpired. In Class D, Detroit Holy Redeemer wins the crown by 9. Then in Class C, Ishpeming took the Class C crown back across the straits to the UP with an 8-point victory over Lakeview. In the Class A title tilt concluded just a while ago, Flint Northern, with a huge second half, defeats Detroit Pershing by 22 points. And now we're ready for the Class B finale here. East Grand Rapids is riding one of the great waves in high school history. The Pioneers, who were runners-up last year, became the first school in state history to appear in football and basketball titles in the same year for 2 consecutive years. However, Coach Scott Tompkins' Pioneers will have their hands full with Detroit Country Day, which can play and has already with any team in the state at any level. In last night's semifinal, Country Day set a new state championship record by winning by 50 points, and they're ready to go again tonight. For a further look at the 2 teams, let's go down courtside. The 2 gentlemen who will call the action, Tim Staudt and Gregory Kelser.
Okay, Rick, thank you. Good evening, everybody. This is the final of a long day here at the BRESLIN Center. We've had near-record crowds here today. And, Gregory, these 2 teams tonight, opposite games last night. How does it affect them tonight? East Grand Rapids had to go overtime, and, of course, Country Day just romped.
Well, you know what? This game provides us finally with our contrast. You have a team that's going to look to really control the tempo versus a team that's going to look to push it up the floor. Country Day, they really like to keep it fast. They've got a lot of guys that can score. In fact, last night they had 15 guys play. On the other hand, and there's Shane Battier, a sophomore that has played to rave reviews, we might say. Very, very talented young man.
Yeah, he's 6 feet 8 inches tall. Now, East Grand Rapids has 3 starters back from last season's team, which lost by a point here for the championship game. So at least they've got some of that experience. They know what it's like. Corbin Elsen is a junior, plays on the front line. He averages about 15, got 16 last night. They're going to need a huge game out of him tonight.
Well, this team only plays about 7 people, and it's going to be imperative that everybody that's on the floor takes care of the basketball. They got to be strong with it if they want to control tempo. Elsen, as you just mentioned, he's the quarterback on the state runner-up football team, so he's looking to finally get a championship.
Country Day wants to light it up. East Grand Rapids wants to slow it down. Rick, we'll see how it's going to work out, but it should be quite a game.
Back with the lineups in just a minute. One of your network sponsors is True Value Hardware. Back at the BRESLIN, you see we're just moments away from the Class B title affair. Country Day with that sparkling 25-1 record, and East Grand Rapids, the runners-up last year, with a 21-5 mark. Important to note, of course, there are no losers at this level. Every team that gets to even the semifinals can consider themselves having a fantastic season. Of course, Country Day won back-to-back Class B crowns not too long ago when the Chris Webber era was in its heyday. So Country Day will try to come back as they did in 1990 and 1991 with another championship. East Grand Rapids, though, trying to gain the crown as well and take it back to the west side of the state. We hope you're ready. We hope you've got the popcorn pop. We're ready to bring you the fourth and final game. Thanks for joining us all day long. And now with the introduction of the starting lineups, let's go down to public address announcer Eric O. Forsell.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we invite you to stand. Gentlemen, please remove your hats and caps and join us in singing our national anthem, featuring the Manistee High School After Hours Vocal Performance Ensemble, directed by Brian Champagne. Our national anthem. High School After Hours Vocal Performance Ensemble, directed by Brian Champagne. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the campus of Michigan State University and the Jack Breslin Student Event Center for tonight's final game in the 1995 Michigan High School Athletic Association Class B basketball tournament. A recent survey revealed that the #1 reason youngsters take part in high school sports is to have fun, not to be #1. That's why good sports are winners. And now let's meet the starting lineup for this evening's game between the Yellowjackets of Detroit Country Day and the Pioneers of East Grand Rapids. For Country Day at forward, 6'2" senior, 25, Jason Carano. For East Grand Rapids at forward, 6'5" junior, 40, Corbin Elsen. The other forward for the Yellowjackets, 6'5" senior, 44, Jason Weber. For the Pioneers at forward, 6'3" senior, 42, John Warsfald. At center for the Yellowjackets, 6'8" sophomore, 55, Shane Battier. For East Grand Rapids at center, 6'6" senior, 44, Chris Vittorini. For Country Day at guard, 6' senior, 32, Jim Spatafor. For East Grand Rapids at guard, 6' senior, 11, Eddie Lampton. And at the other guard, for Country Day, 6'1" senior, 24, Gerald Conoway. For East Grand Rapids at guard, 6'1" junior, 22, Colin Exelby. Head coach, Detroit Country Day, Kurt Keener. Head coach of East Grand Rapids, Scott Tompkins. Your officials for tonight's game, Richard Kalahar and John Kirk. Alternate is Randy Hutton. And we would like to thank Tunes by T. Tunes by T for the music production during the finals tournament. Thanks to Tunes by T.
Richard Kalahar is one of the officials, as you saw. He's your lead official tonight. Here are your starting lineups: Gregory Kelser, Carano, Weber, Battier, Conoway, Spadafor. There's some familiar names in there. Spadafor, of course, is the son of the famed Jim Spadafor, the Detroit News sports writer. Weber is the brother of Chris Weber, and he has a brother playing on this team. And some people say Gregory may be the best high school basketball team in the state at any level, for Kurt Keener, the head coach.
Well, that might be, but the team we saw earlier, boy, from Flint Northern, very, very tough and impressive.
One of the best.
Oh, yeah. You got to put that in. I was awfully impressed with Tony Holliday's team. My goodness.
Tim Staudt along with Greg Kelser. Nice to have you with us wherever you are around the state of Michigan on this lovely day. It has sprung now, and it really springs after we get this final basketball game out of the way to end the season. Country Day's in the blue. East Grand Rapids is in the yellow, and we're underway.
Let's watch to see the decision-making of East Grand Rapids. I don't think you're going to see them putting the ball up too quickly unless it's a very, very high percentage shot. They know they can ill afford to get into a running game with Country Day.
It's a team that obviously does not need a shot clock. Last night, East Grand Rapids knocked out undefeated DeWitt here in overtime, and it was like a football game in terms of the contact and the relatively few points scored. But they controlled the tempo, and there's a foul on Spadafor, first foul of the game.
Well, you hear the term from time to time, ugly basketball, and that's where teams try to slow it down and keep the game in the 40s and the 50s. The only way I see East Grand Rapids winning this game is if it's an ugly basketball game, so to speak.
Just underway here in the first quarter. You saw the scores earlier at the top of our three champions. There are no repeaters here. But East Grand Rapids is in the final game here for the second year in a row and lost by 1 point. Last year here, a very tough game, 39-38, and they lost it at the buzzer on a shot by Travis Conlon of St. Clair Shores Lake Shore. And of course, he's now a player at Michigan. So in our first minute, no scoring here. Here's the big guy inside, and that's Jason Weber. He looks a little like Chris, don't you think?
Well, especially wearing that number 44 jersey. That was the number that Chris Weber wore when he was at Country Day.
His pants aren't quite as long as Chris wore at Michigan. But as Gregory will tell you, the pants the high school kids wear today are longer than when you played, right, partner?
Well, they're longer than when we played. I thought ours were a little too short. Somewhere in between, I'm sure, is the right length.
So Country Day in a 2-0 lead here over East Grand Rapids. The Pioneers of East Grand Rapids have only had one shot, and that was blocked, and there's two, and that's too hard. And that comes down to Weber, and Country Day is going back the other way.
We should note that Country Day yesterday against Stevensville Lake Shore got off to a 22-2 lead, and that game was over. And
that team only had lost 2 games going in, so it was not a team of chopped liver, no Cinderella team. But Country Day had it all going here last night. And they played 15 guys, as Gregory said. Inside, Battier shot, no good defense there by Chris Vittorini of East Grand Rapids. That's Corbin Elsen. And Country Day will keep it here, leading 2-0, just underway, 5:54 to play here in the first quarter. Good crowd on hand tonight. The early doubleheader session today was a sellout, first time in final day history. And we had a good crowd for the A game. East Grand Rapids gets a stop here, and the Pioneers going the other way. It's loose on the floor, and we're going to get a foul, I believe. We do. And that official ran all the way across the floor, and he found Gerald Conoway with a foul. That's a second team foul here on the Yellowjackets.
Here's the scramble for the loose ball, and there's the foul right there at midcourt.
So East Grand Rapids with a chance to tie or take the lead. East Grand Rapids will have to shoot very well, I would think, Gregory, to stay in this game, and I mean very well.
Well, they've got to shoot it well. The most important thing, they've got to try to take the high percentage shot.
No question, the Pioneers are bigger underdogs in this game than they were a year ago.
We should also note that they play pretty good defense. I mean, no team has scored more than 59 points against them all year.
So here comes Country Day. Country Day's only loss was to Class A school, Battle Creek Central, 71-59. And that team, Battle Creek Central, was ranked by USA Today as one of the top teams in the country. Jump ball, the possession arrow gives it back to East Grand Rapids. No, they're hanging in there. Only down 2-0. They have not scored in the first 2:52. And we've seen a lot of teams today apply pressure in the backcourt, and that's exactly what Country Day does here. They got the numbers. That one's off the glass, so they got a tie game. Eddie Lampton with good speed, Greg.
And that's a good early opportunity. I mean, when the opening's there, then you're smart to attack it. When it's not there, pull it out, work the clock. With no shot clock, that helps East Grand Rapids.
Shane Battier gets free. That's his first two tonight. And so now it's a 4-2 game in favor of the Yellowjackets of Detroit Country Day. Battier averaging 18.4 a game, and Weber's at 16.7. They're the only two on their team in double figures, but they got a lot of guys who can still score. Up off the glass, no, and Battier corrals the rebound, goes left hand to right hand with it, and here's Spatafor with the ball.
Another reason that East Grand Rapids must shoot high percentage shots. They're not going to get too many opportunities on the second shot.
Travel is called. That'll send it back to East Grand Rapids. 4-2 the score here. Early going, 4:19 to go. Country Day will bring David Weber, another one of Chris's brothers, into the game.
Here's Battier creating an inside presence for Country Day. Huge damage he did in just 19 minutes against Stevensville Lake Shore.
Jim Spatafor checks out. It sounds funny to say that when we see his dad.
He looks just like his dad, too.
Just like his dad. Better player than his dad is, though.
They say that his athleticism comes from his mother's side.
Must be, absolutely. And I'm sure his dad's heard that 8,000 times from people in the media who know him. And his dad is not covering the game tonight for the Detroit News. We can have you rest assured of that. Tom Markowski is here. 4-2 is our score in this first quarter. Detroit Country Day leading over East Grand Rapids. The Jackets have never trailed. Game's been tied once. You can tell that East Grand Rapids, Greg, doesn't want to make a mistake, take a bad shot. That's 2 blocks for Battier now. Let's see if he got a third one. He got a rebound out of it.
See, they're just not going to get too many opportunities. Good job of getting it inside. But Battier, he's such a good shot blocker, has great timing. He can cause a lot of problems inside for East Grand Rapids.
Gerald Conoway has 2, and it's a 6-2 game now for Detroit Country Day, located in the village of Beverly Hills. Many, many good teams at that school. Inside fake, and then there's a whistle and a foul call, and that'll go against Jason Weber, and that's his first. I would imagine the Weber family's had some pretty good games in the courtyard or in the driveway between Dad, Mace, and Chris, and the 2 kids here for Country Day.
I'll tell you what, you can have the other 3, and I'll take Chris. There's that first block by Battier, batting it away, way up top.
I'm not sure if Jason Weber and David Weber wouldn't take those odds. They'd go up against their brother. The only difference is he's got some experience and a little more money. Chris Vittorini is on the line. That'll make it a 6-3 game now.
You know, it's interesting. There are 6 players on this East Grand Rapids basketball team that played on the football team, which finished 2nd in the state in Class B. And they haven't really had too many off days since August.
Nope.
I mean, they played the state championship on a Saturday in November, and 2 days later we're at basketball practice.
And they never missed a beat, and they've had a great season, only losing 5 games.
Nice pump fake. That's inside, outside basketball.
And a whistle inside on that foul will go on a push-off against East Grand Rapids. Make sure we get it accurate here. We'll wait and let, we don't have that announced yet. Corbin Elsen has his first foul. That's a first team foul on East Grand Rapids in the first 5 minutes of this game. Jim Spatafor back in the game now for the Yellowjackets. Drives and Eddie Lampton scores. It won't count. That's a charge. East Grand Rapids stood its ground, draws the foul. That's now 2 fouls on Spatafor, 14 fouls, and the ball goes over.
You know, there are adjectives to describe certain players. Well, I haven't seen much of Jim Spatterford, but I tell you what, I can tell you he's gritty. He doesn't mind contact. Unfortunately, that bit of contact costs him his second foul. As you indicated, he's going to have to spend some time on the bench.
So he's out of there now, 6-4 here. And after getting out to a 22-2 lead last night, Country Day has been slowed down here a little bit tonight. On the floor, 20, Javon Hunter. Now, he's a story in himself. His dad is James Hunter, the former Detroit Lions player. So Javon Hunter is on the floor now, number 20 here, the point guard. And he's going to fire for three.
Well, they hit 7 3-pointers last night in their semifinal win, Country Day. That's really not their forte, but as you said, a lot of things going right for them in that game.
Grand Rapids got to be very pleased with the way things have gone so far, and they tie the game. Chris Vittorini, 4 for him, and we're tied at 6.
Well, so far, I think this game is their tempo. It is not wild. It is not helter-skelter. It's very much under control. And for the most part, they're taking good shots, and they're right there, 6-all.
East Grand Rapids here trying to clog the middle, as you can see, and keep Battier from getting a chance to do much offensively. He's only a sophomore. A lot of college guys looking at Shane Battier, only a sophomore. There's a steal, but it's out of bounds, and so Country Day will get it back. What about a shot clock in high school basketball, Greg? Does that make the game better or no big deal?
You know, I think each level has to keep its own distinction. And you have the shot clock in the pros, you have it in college. Leave it out of high school basketball. It gives underdogs a better chance of winning against the more talented clubs.
And that time the shot is up by Gerald Conoway, and good. He has 4, and it's 8-6. And for East Grand Rapids, Colin Exelby now is in the game. He's averaging 11 points a game. Inside there, there's 3 block shots by Shane Battier. Inside, there's 4 block shots.
It's volleyball. That's what it is. Here comes 5.
It's going to be 3 seconds in a minute. No, they're going to, yeah, it is 3 seconds.
Hey.
Yep. He pitched a 10 in there.
He just shut down the middle. But here's what has to happen. You saw the penetration. The first time when the penetration came and the ball was kicked out, there has to be a shot. It's okay to take the 6-footer. Why try to make it a 4-footer and have to shoot it up over the top of Battier?
4 block shots for Shane Battier here in the first quarter, the first 7 minutes of this game. 8-6 now, Country Day. But defensively, East Grand Rapids is hanging in there tough. And Scott Tompkins, the East Grand Rapids coach, he's got to be pleased pretty much so far. For 3 outside, no, Battier corrals that. Well, Country Day will try again here, and then it's tipped away momentarily, and Country Day will get it back. East Grand Rapids fans voice their approval. They like what they've seen.
Well, so far, Elsen and Vidarni, they're doing a very good job inside. They're keeping Country Day out on the perimeter, trying to shoot it. And if you can do that, I think you enhance your chances of staying close to them.
So Country Day will play for the last shot here with a 2-point lead. This is exactly the kind of game East Grand Rapids usually gets and definitely wants tonight. They slow down, don't get too up-tempo, not a lot of transition. For 3, that one's way off. They've pounded away the threes, and we've come to the end of the first quarter here at the BRESLIN Center, the Class C title game.
This is definitely East Grand Rapids pace.
Country Day 8, East Grand Rapids 6. One of your sponsors tonight is Farm Bureau Insurance.
It's a 2-point game after 1 quarter of the Class B championship here at the BRESLIN. Rick Berkey along with guest analyst Marshall Thomas. Again, East Grand Rapids has already succeeded in one aspect. They've got the score down in the range they want.
Right, they're giving themselves a chance to stay in the game. One of the reasons that they're probably able to do that, every person on the floor can handle the basketball. And that's a lot of time what's needed to be able to control tempo best.
From Country Day's standpoint, what do they do to try to change this tempo? I mean, you look for a more pressure type full court?
Perhaps, and they're going to need to do it. Otherwise, they're going to put extra pressure on themselves, and they may get to doing some things that they don't need to do because I think they've been rated as a real high favorite as far as overwhelmingly to win this game.
Still 3 quarters to go. Let's go down once again, Tim and Gregory.
And Greg, East Grand Rapids got to feel good. They only shot 2 of 11 from the floor for 18%. 4 of them got swatted out of there, never found the basket anyway. You shoot 18%, you're only down by 2, but they've out-rebounded Country Day 7-6, and Country Day's had 5 turnovers to 3.
From a psychological standpoint, they're winning the game, East Grand Rapids. And what Country Day has to do is guard against getting frustrated and starting to lose their patience and throwing up bad shots like they did from the outside. They've got to work it, and if it's going to be a slow game for now, so be it.
And they've played tough defense. They're going to have to make it happen at this end of the floor and then just get what they can get offensively. Here's Battier. They could see 3 guys around him, and he curls it in. That's a big-time move. How do kids get so good so young?
Well, you know what? That was a very athletic move, but the double and the triple team down on him wasn't very convincing. I mean, they got there, but they didn't lock him, and they didn't swipe at the basketball, so he was still able to get it up. There's a nice little turnaround jumper.
P.J. Quaino off the bench, comes off a screen, hits a nice little post-up jumper there. That's 2 for him, and it's 10-8. They attacked at that time, and he put that shot up before Battier could get down there with that big paw and knock him out of there again. Battier, little turnaround post move. Shane Battier has 6.
You know, I talked about Battier, just 19 minutes played last night. How about 14 points, 13 rebounds? He only had 4 blocks in that game. He's got that many now.
He's making up for it. And he's been a lot more assertive offensively there. Good heavens, and he can't declare himself hardship as a high school player.
No, he's got to stay a couple more years.
We may be seeing him around here for a while. We saw Chris Webber here 3 straight final games, and they won them all. Country Day did. Elsen goes in, basket counts, and he's fouled. And Corbin Elsen finally scores his first 2. He's averaging 15 a game, and he's fouled and the basket counts.
The key to that play, and Elsen, he's not going to shy away from contact. He's the football quarterback. Watch, he puts his body right into Battier. That totally negates the strength and the timing of a shot blocker.
Shane Battier got that foul. That is his first. And so now Country Day has pulled once again to within 2. Country Day has led all the way, but it's been close. Country Day is an independent school, doesn't play in a league, so it can pick all the tough teams it wants. But none of them, except Battle Creek Central, have been tougher than Country Day this season. All those wins, 25-1. And East Grand Rapids is the winner of the Ottawa-Kent White Division. East Grand Rapids went 10-2 in league play to win the championship. East Grand Rapids is a bigger school, 760 students to 569. But they both play 5-on-5 on the floor here, and it's Country Day by 2 here with 6 minutes to go in the first half.
Really like the interior defense. Look at the help defense right there, East Grand Rapids.
Now they put the clamps on Battier, and they put them on Webber and do a great job. They post-up move inside off the glass. No, and East Grand Rapids will go the other way with a chance to tie or take the lead. And it's tied.
The quickness that time.
Eddie Lampton.
If you can play good defense and then clean up and get the defensive rebound. That's sealing the deal. When you get the defensive rebound, you can stay competitive.
We are tied at 12. Weber's shot is good. Jason Weber, that's 4 for him.
Well, he got upstairs that time and did not allow the defense to gang down on him. He was able to get that shot down.
Country Day by 2, 14-12. P.J. Quain has got his game-time haircut on here. And that time Battier gets good position on him and takes him out and gets it back the other way. For 3 from outside, no, and that may go against Weber, and it does. Jason Weber has his 2nd foul, and that's the 16th foul now on Detroit Country Day. I'm impressed with East Grand Rapids defense here, Greg.
Now, this was a moment ago when Weber was able to get that shot off quickly before the defense could come down. But Chris Vadarini is a tough inside player. I'm seeing that watching him. He's not giving up any ground in there. He's very physical, and when the shot goes up, he does a good job of blocking out. I'm talking about number 44, gold jersey.
14-12 now. East Grand Rapids with a chance to tie or take its first lead of the night. And again, the no shot clock really helps East Grand Rapids. Helena shot that time a little bit rushed. Didn't quite have the balance he had the first time.
Nor did he have the handle on the ball. It looked like it slipped out of his hand just a little bit.
The three-point shots just have not been there so far tonight for Country Day. Only 1 out of 8 so far from three-point range.
But Arnie got away with a push that time.
Now East Grand Rapids back with 4 minutes to play here in the second quarter. We're going to get some substitutions at the next whistle. Elsen drives in, up and scores. Nice shot by Corbin Elsen, 4 for him, and we're tied.
Well, the last 2 times going inside, he has not been intimidated. That time he had to do a little side step to get by Battier. Shows that he can put it down on the floor. He was defended way out on top, beat his man to the basket and scored.
On the top of the key, that one is up and good. Nice shot by Mike Manciel. Only a 9th grader. Mike Manciel is a 6'4", 185-pounder, only a 9th grader. We're going to see this team around in the state tournament for some time.
I think you're right.
Man, oh man.
It's got to be fun coaching a team full of 9th, 10th, and 11th graders, and you're in the state championship game, huh?
Seniors are an endangered species on this team. Elsen shot won't go. Country Day with a 2-point lead in the basketball now. East Grand Rapids has never led, but has been tied on 3 occasions.
I'll say it at least up to this point. This is why you play the games. Everybody in the arena talking about how this was going to be a blowout based on what happened last night, but East Grand Rapids is saying, hey, we're here, and we're here because we can play. We didn't just show up.
Mike Mansell gets the foul. That's the 7th for a 1-and-1 situation now. So East Grand Rapids, if it can shoot free throws, can do some damage here in the latter part here of this first half. This team is only a 63% free throw shooting team, however. We can take a look at Javin Hunter into the game, number 20. There's a good look at Shane Battier. Timeout is called with 2:52. East Grand Rapids wants to give the kids a rest. 16-14, Country Day leads it here late in the first half. You're watching the MHSAA tonight on Pass. Tim Staudt with Greg Kelser. Good look at a huge crowd again tonight here at the BRESLIN Center. The B Championship game, Country Day leading East Grand Rapids. Some happy faces here tonight. They don't look like their team's in any kind of trouble at all.
Their team isn't in any kind of trouble. In fact, their team is in great shape right now.
Okay, what do we got here?
Well, this is the quarterback. This is Corbin Elsen. Look at this. He's going to do a little maneuver right there to get by Battier. Right there. Plants his feet, kind of side straddles to get by Battier, and then hits it off the glass. That took a lot of concentration because he had to watch Battier and keep his eye on the window.
Elsen is on the line. He is 0 for 1 there tonight, has 4 points. This kid's only a junior. He's 205 pounds. He played in this game a year ago. So from the line now, East Grand Rapids just 2 for 4. And Country Day has shot no free throws tonight. Stay with us at halftime. We'll have some special features and highlights and other activities of high school sports in the state of Michigan. Oh, nice move right here. If that goes. No, but tipped up and in by Shane Battier. And he's now got 8.
Well, that time he wasn't blocked out very effectively. But as far as the physical nature of this game, I was not really worried about East Grand Rapids because when you got a team full of football players, heck, they're used to contact, and I think in most cases they invite it.
Elsen missing a little gimme there that he needed. Inside in the lane, and just like that, there's a lot of transition now, and Mike Mansell has 4, and quickly it's a 6-point game, and that's the biggest lead now for Country Day.
Now, when you're a team that's trying to control tempo, it's very important to set up a certain number of points that you feel that you can be down and still find manageable in terms of coming back. I say for East Grand Rapids, it has to be somewhere between 6 and 8 points. I don't think they can allow this thing to get up around 10 because then you start losing your control of the pace.
P.J. Quina, only a sophomore, with a couple of big jump shots off the bench here. And that stops the bleeding for a moment. It's 20-16. Foul inside is against East Grand Rapids.
And it's going against Corbin Elsen.
That's his second personal foul, and only the second foul against East Grand Rapids tonight. So Elsen, who looks beat, and understandably so, is out of there, and 45, Brian Grant, comes in.
You see him right in there, slipping free.
Brian Grant's all of 230 pounds himself, so they don't give up any muscle in there. And on the floor, jump ball, that'll go to East Grand Rapids. So the Pioneers now with a chance to eat into that 4-point deficit.
Possession. Ball goes to East Grand Rapids.
Verdurant is only 1 of 5 from the floor, number 44. But he has been invaluable defensively. He's the one who just got on the floor and tied that ball up for East Grand Rapids.
Now you're going to see some more substitutions checking in for Kurt Keener in his 17th season as the head coach of Detroit Country Day. His team with Chris Webber leading the way with state titles in 89, 90, and 91. And by contrast, Staudt Tompkins is only in his second year as the head coach at East Grand Rapids. So Keener's been there 17. Tompkins has been on board 2. This Eddie Lampton has got some serious speed getting the ball up and down the floor. Very good ball handler. Takes a tremendous screen, but there's no shot there.
No need to hurry.
I think Country Day, though, Greg, has stepped the pressure up here defensively.
Well, they're trying to turn up the pace, and they're trying to force East Grand Rapids into some mistakes, but so far they're doing a really good job of handling the basketball.
Now, that time it looked like Colin Exelby might have been tired when he finally put that shot up. He was a little off balance. So shot, no, and here comes, I'll tell you this, Eddie Lampton's got tremendous speed, dishes it up, lays it up on the Colin Exelby.
That was all Lampton. He raced it down the floor, made the last defender back commit to him, and then dished it off real nicely to Exelby. Again, down just 2 points as halftime nears. East Grand Rapids has to be ecstatic.
They're right in the game, and they've got some guys with speed. I mean, there's nobody quicker than this Eddie Lampton. No one quicker I've seen today. Down the, that's got to be a charge. And that one goes against David Weber. And so a player control foul. Man, the collisions that we've seen today.
Unbelievable.
Oh, I mean, there was just going to be no quarter there. He was not going in there. That kid hung in there on him. His mother must have cringed when she saw him take that charge. But Staudt Tompkins has his team ready to play tonight. There's no question about it. The Pioneers are ready to play. Well, that's why they're here. That's why they're a good team. That's why they're in the state title 2 years in a row, the championship game. But as Gregory said, if you asked most people in this building before the game who they thought was going to win, a heck of a lot of them would have said Country Day.
Well, that's because they saw East Grand Rapids score 43 points with an overtime yesterday, and they saw Country Day win by 50.
Now they break Eddie Lampton long this time. He manages to catch up. And that will end the first half, and a good first half it was, and a close first half. It is 20-18, Detroit Country Day over East Grand Rapids. It's a happy East Grand Rapids team. They're right in the game. And one of your sponsors tonight is the Michigan Abstinence Partnership.
Today's broadcast of the MHSAA Finals is made possible by Farm Bureau Insurance, sponsor of the MHSAA Scholar Athlete Award, True Value Hardware, promoting good sportsmanship through the Good Sports Are Winners program, the Michigan Abstinence Partnership, and the Coca-Cola Bottling Company of Michigan. Always a great pick. Always Coca-Cola.
You see Country Day's Yellowjackets with a 2-point lead over East Grand Rapids, 20-18 at halftime of the Class B Championship here at the Breslin. An exciting day, terrific crowds, and we've got a lot to come. We've got an interview with Executive Director Jack Roberts and more analysts of the first half, of course, with Marshall Thomas, so stay with us. One of your network sponsors is Farm Bureau Insurance. Back at the BRESLIN, you see it's a two-point ball game here in the Class B finale. Country Day with that slight edge over East Grand Rapids. Joined once again, as we are annually up here, by Jack Roberts, the executive director of the MHSAA. Jack, of course, the basketball finals, one of the most prestigious events all year long with your organization. It's been a great 3 days here at the BRESLIN.
It has been. We've had wonderful weather outside, and that atmosphere is carried right on in, where we've had great play, great coaching, some fine officiating, and as usual, some of the best sportsmanship that we'll see all year long right here at the finals.
Some terrific crowds as well, but you're coming off record-setting crowds in wrestling and girls volleyball as well.
That's right. Last weekend and the weekend before, we had capacity crowds for both our wrestling, individual wrestling, and for our volleyball, girls volleyball. It's showing me that there's great interest in high school sports, not just in basketball, but all across the board in all of our sports. And I think that the interest carries down to the regular season, too. I think people really are entertained by the purity, the amateur ethic, the enthusiasm of high school sports, perhaps in sharp contrast with what we see right now in a lot of the professional sports.
Face of athletics has changed, of course, of late. Let's talk about some of the concerns you have, maybe trends and where you see things going.
Well, one of the problems that we're going to have in educational athletics is having non-educators as coaches, a lot of non-faculty persons. We can turn this into an opportunity, and we're trying to do that with our program of athletic coaches education, providing the fundamental training to those folks who may not have had the background in physical education and so forth, and may not think they're prepared to coach, but we think we can help make them good coaches. We're also concerned about the turnover in officiating. Some of our veterans get chosen for college ranks, and some others just plain retire, and we need some youngsters to come in and replace those veterans in our officiating ranks.
Jack, you mentioned sportsmanship. I know that the state of Michigan and the MHSAA is making major statements about trash talking.
We have. We don't think there's a place for it in high school sports. What we have behind us here is an educational classroom, and it's not appropriate to have trash talk in the classroom. We don't think it's appropriate to have it here. But beyond that philosophical point of view, there's also the practical concern. If we can eliminate the trash talk and some of the gestures that lead to more physical confrontations, we can get rid of the violence or avoid the violence that has plagued high school athletics in some other parts of the country.
Jack, sit back and enjoy the second half.
I sure will.
Executive Director Jack Roberts, thanks for joining us. You see Country Day with a 2-point advantage. Stay with us. One of your network sponsors is Farm Bureau Insurance. More than a few people surprised by our halftime scores. This powerful Country Day hanging on to a 2-point lead over East Grand Rapids. Rick Berkey, once again, Marshall Thomas, our guest analyst. The score is down low, but even with the fewer possessions, we have to be impressed again with Shane Battier, the phenomenal talent there for Country Day.
Very much so. You know, he's a well-rounded ball player and playing really, really mature for a sophomore. He's the mainstay, like they can play certain types of defenses. It's hard for East Grand Rapids going into the bucket because he's blocking some shots. However, they don't seem to be allowing that to bother them because they're playing their game, and that's why they're 2 points down on it.
You mentioned the sophomore, Battier, but I thought that the sophomore P.J. Quina for East Grand Rapids really provided a spark to the team.
Playing with a lot of poise, and really looking at him, you would have thought he was a senior that he had been playing all these years, but he's playing with a lot of poise tonight.
Well, we've certainly got a second half to go, and East Grand Rapids has accomplished what they want. They're in the game at halftime. That's no small feat against this team.
And I'll tell you what, I think they're going to stay in the game for the second half also.
All right, we still got 2 quarters to come. Marshall and I will be back at the end of the third quarter. Stay with us. This is the MHSAA On Pass.
Tim Staudt with Greg Kelser back here at the Jack BRESLIN Center. This is the Class B championship game. East Grand Rapids has never led, but the Pioneers have hung around all night. They've never trailed by more than 6, Gregory. And they got to be feeling happy, even though this Shane Battier's had a big game in the first half.
He really has. Here he is right now, stationed in the middle of the paint, causing havoc. Watch the play as it develops. Here's the penetration. And this is what I call defensive discipline, because he did not go for not a single pump fake. And I can't tell you how difficult it is when you're a shot blocker to stay on the floor. But this is how you negate a shot blocker. Now, that basket's not going to count. That was Vittorini in there. But what he did, he put his body into the shot blocker. That that threw his timing off, and he was able to get the shot off. But again, the quickest guy on the floor, that's Lampton, Eddie Lampton, doing a really good job in terms of pushing the ball when the opportunity is there for East Grand Rapids.
Well, as you can see, Country Day is shooting better at 46-35. They haven't been to the line yet. And the rebounds are now in Country Day's favor, but Country Day's turned the ball over 7 times as well. As Greg said at the top of the show, East Grand Rapids wants to keep her low, and that's exactly what they've done. It's a 20-18 game. This is not out of hand. Marshall thinks it's going to be tight to the end. You think so?
I agree with him. I mean, because we haven't been given any indication that Country Day is ready to blow this thing open. It looks like they're going to go down to the wire with it. And I would have to say, from a confidence factor, East Grand Rapids is very much there.
Well, so do the Pioneers fans. They're all excited here. These are the East Grand Rapids Pioneers, the winners of the Ottawa Ken White Division Championship. Gathered around Scott Tompkins in his second year. His record is 41-12 since taking over. 2 years, 2 times in the championship game. That's not too bad. There's Eddie Lampton, number 11. I would think, Gregory, he could play college basketball somewhere with just his speed alone.
Well, the thing is, everybody's looking for a quality ball handler that has speed, that can penetrate, and when necessary can hit the little pull-up jumper. He looks to have those tools. It'll be interesting. Jason
Carano stands right in front of us here at midcourt at the BRESLIN Center for Detroit Country Day. He will inbound the basketball, and there's the sweatband for Shane Battier in the numbers. As you can see, he's got 8 points, and all the other guys have combined have total 20 points. So here we go, third quarter. Good to have you with us, Tim Staudt with Greg Kelser here. Wherever you are across the state of Michigan tonight, this is the last half of the high school basketball season for 94-95. Detroit Holy Redeemers won today. Flint Northern has won. Ishpeming's won. There's Spatafor shot no good. Country Day trying to solve the defense of East Grand Rapids, and it's been a struggle so far.
And defense is what holds you in it. You know, a big part of being able to control the pace is not losing your composure on the defensive end. And I really like the way they're ganging up on Battier in the post area. Look at that. There it is right there. Strip away.
Eddie Lampton, and then he draws a foul. And that foul is on Jason Weber, and that's his third. He's the first player with 3. East Grand Rapids only had 2 team fouls in the first half, both of them against Corbin Elsen.
What Shane Battier has to be aware of when he gets the basketball, can't just put it down on the floor to improve his position. He's got to look around to make sure there are no defenders coming down to help. If so, find the open man on the perimeter.
Eddie Lampton now for East Grand Rapids. Jim Spatafor guards him. Early in the third quarter. Good games today, plenty of action and a ton of contact. East Grand Rapids to tie or take. There's a good bump inside there, but it's loose. And East Grand Rapids will retain the ball. This basketball court has such good acoustics with our microphones. I think it makes it, I feel like I need shoulder pads sitting over here. The microphones are hot everywhere, and you get the benefit at home.
It's even wilder when you're doing a Michigan State Spartan game because we're sitting right in front of the student section.
Yeah, this is the ultimate in high-tech audio. I've never heard the bumble. You can just listen to the floor out here and banging against each other.
Squeaking up the gym shoes. It's all there.
Yep. East Grand Rapids patient. Here's Elsen over his man, and he ties the game. Now they're on a 6-point run now. It was 20-14, and we're tied at 20.
As I said before, this can wear you down. This can frustrate you because this is definitely not the type of basketball that Country Day likes to play.
You got to start, and a whistle inside the 3. Give them each a third of a foul there. But I believe it's going to go against, is it Vittorini? Chris Vittorini, 44. Let's see.
Well, they're hoping that it's not on Elsen because he already has 2. And it is on Vittorini.
Chris Vittorini now with his first team foul.
That was Elsen a moment ago on the turnaround. That shot tied it up for East Grand Rapids.
6.5 to play here in the third quarter. Good crowd tonight again. Here's the setup from 3. That one's around and won't go by Jim Spatafor.
Now that foul will, in fact, go on Corbin Elsen. 3 on him. Decision for Coach Scott Tompkins.
This telecast is a copyrighted production of the Michigan High School Athletic Association and Pass Sports. No reproduction or retransmission of the pictures or accounts of this game may take place without the express written permission of the MHSAA and Pass.
You know, I'm a little surprised they don't take Elsen, number 40, and put him, switch men with him, have Vittorini go over and check Battier, because you certainly don't want to lose Elsen to foul number 4.
Now Chris Vittorini has his second foul, third team foul, so they've piled him up here in the first minute and 40 seconds. And this will be a two-shot opportunity for Mike Mansell, a freshman, 9th grader. And he looks good, too.
9th grade playing in a state championship game. How about that?
Not fair, huh? Think of all those guys. Greg Kelser, as great as his career was at Henry Ford in Detroit, he never played one of these games.
Doggone right I did.
Mike Mansell has 5 points now, and it's once again a lead for Country Day. Now East Grand Rapids can take its first lead of the night, but it's stripped away. Good defense by Jim Spatafor. He got it from Eddie Lampton.
Surprised to see Lampton give that ball up so easily. He's done a good job of handling the ball for his team.
Inside, dumped it off. Nice basket there by Mike Mansell. 7 points for him. And Country Day with a 23-20 lead.
And full court pressure in an attempt again to quicken the action.
Scott Tompkins, like a football coach over there on the sideline, wanted to make sure he gets this exactly the way he wants it. Corbin Elsen from 2. That's clanging short. Now Country Day on a little run here.
And no presence on the glass offensively in terms of rebounding for East Grand Rapids the last few times. Now you've got Country Day's fans chanting boring, boring, but that's okay as far as East Grand Rapids is concerned.
Once again, East Grand Rapids with a lunch bucket defense in here. That's tipped out of bounds. And the Yellowjackets will still retain possession. Our total attendance today, 73,948 for the 3 days of the semifinals and finals. 37,001 fans for the 3 sessions today. The Michigan High School Athletic Association salutes its fans on the 70th annual tournament. And for the semifinals and finals here over 3 days, 73,948. Greg, not too bad.
Not too bad at all. You got to look momentarily at Country Day's coach, Richard Keener. Kurt Keener, that is. Keener wanted us to say hello to his mom, Roseanne, who's watching back in the Detroit area. She's recovering from an illness. We'd like to wish her the best. Get well soon.
Well,
thanks for tuning in.
It's got to be a little nerve-wracking for in this one right here, because the Yellowjackets are struggling a bit even though they lead.
Wow, there's a collision.
There's a collision inside.
And another one.
And that one will go against East Grand Rapids, I believe. I think Spatafor might have got away with a push-off with an elbow there. And we had a much better view than the 2 officials underneath. See if he uses his elbow here now coming back out. That's what I saw. And watch his right elbow.
I told you he was gritty. Look, that's an offensive foul. They missed it. And then goes in and takes a couple of other people out. But as you said, we've had a lot of big-time collisions, but fortunately no one has had to leave on a stretcher, so we play on.
That foul was on P.J. Quina. That's his first. So Jim Spatafor is on the line. He has not scored yet tonight. This is his final high school game. He's a senior.
Spatafor created him some contact that time. He was going to get to the line one way or another.
Spatafor is a 62% free throw shooter, and he'd only gone to the line 34 teams the entire regular season. So now it's a 4-point run for Country Day, and East Grand Rapids falls down by 4. They get to tying it, and then they tap back out again. But that's usually when the tempo starts to get hurried up a bit. Turnovers will not make it for East Grand Rapids. They were free of a lot of them in the first half, but they're struggling a bit here in the first 4 minutes of the third quarter. Inside, Spatafor is fouled. Oh, they're going to call the offensive foul. Well, that may be a little bit of a makeup there. He has 3 now.
Well, you know what he does? He puts his head down, and then he just goes at it. Really not aware of where the defense is. Look where that head is. Looking down at the floor all the time. Defenders are getting in position to draw some type of contact. I thought he got away with an offensive foul a few moments ago. That time he was definitely nailed.
Now he's out of the game to take a rest. And the backcourt pressure, as you can see, he's going to have to throw it. And the good move is getting it to Eddie Lampton because he can get over the 10-second line with good speed.
Needs to penetrate, needs to try to attack the basket.
Buena inside to Elsen, he lays it up and in. Corbin Elsen now with 8 points. And it's a 2-point game once again. Largest lead was 6 for Country Day at 20-14. Battier's first shot in the second half, and he now has double figures with 10.
And he was very excited about it. You know, when he gets the ball, he's very good at shooting it very comfortably off the turnaround. Problem is, Battier just isn't getting a lot of touches in this quarter.
David Weber thought they were going to call a foul on him off that screen, but it was just a ball thrown away by East Grand Rapids. So the turnovers now are 7 for East Grand Rapids to 9 for Country Day. And East Grand Rapids has got to hold them down as best they can. 3:16 to go, third quarter. Battier posts his man Elsen and puts it in. To me, Greg, that's the play they have to make offensively to put some distance with the Pioneers.
Well, you know what? Surprisingly now, the last 2 times that Battier has touched the basketball, there's been no defensive help. You got to have it on him. You got to make him give it up.
28-22, drive to the basket. A foul is called. And that should send East Grand Rapids to the line. Good move by Chris Vittorini.
Now, once again, attacking the basket when you're ready to score. You know, you can work it out on the perimeter all you want, trying to control the pace. But when East Grand Rapids is ready to score, it's smart to attack the basket. That way, maybe you can get some contact and get a foul.
David Weber for 2 now.
Again, down 6. East Grand Rapids has to start thinking to themselves, okay, this is about as far down as we want to go. We are not going to be able to come back against a very talented up-tempo team like Country Day if we fall down too far.
Country Day now 3 out of 5 from the line tonight. John Worsfold, a senior on the line. That cuts it to 5. These are key moments here. And he got them both. 28-24, low scoring. Now Country Day looking to equal its biggest lead of the night, or perhaps more. On the baseline, that'll be a foul that's going to send him to the line, and that one goes against John Worsfold. That's his first. And to the line for Country Day, Javin Hunter. Javin Hunter is a 9th grader as well, Gregory. I mean, they got, in fact, on their roster, they list 3 freshmen, and 2 of them play key roles. So here's 9th grader. I thought he looked a little bit young to me. But he's a good player. James Hunter's son.
Oh, my God. He looks just like James.
Looks like Dad. 5'11" freshman.
I wonder if he can hit a golf ball like his dad.
I don't know. He's only 150 pounds, and he looks like that's with heavy shoes on too. Yeah. 29-24 is the score. In for East Grand Rapids now, Colin Exelby, and that'll send John Worsfold to the bench. So again, it'll be a full court press here by Country Day. Once Eddie Lampton gets it, you can pretty well rest assured they'll get it over the timeline. East Grand Rapids still needs to keep its poise and patience here. There's a lot of time left in this game.
Good ball movement. Terrific patience.
Buena goes in off the glass and gets it to go.
And when you're ready, excuse me, Tim, when you're ready to score, attack the basket. Nothing wrong with that style of attack.
That kid's played great off the bench for them, and he's made very smart moves.
Buena's an excellent compliment, I think, to Eddie Lampton, because he too can control the basketball. He doesn't turn it over. Very much what they want.
Shane Battier off the bracket. No, and it's pulled down by Eddie Lampton. So once again, East Grand Rapids will not go away. They don't know what it is to be an underdog. Battier gets his 5th block, and then a foul is called. And that was one of those poor reaction fouls from Chris Vittorini, 60 feet away from the basket.
Hey, you got to be ready to drop it off when you go in there. And you've got the shot blocking presence of Battier. This is 22, X will be. Hey, you've drawn the big guy over. Now drop it off to his man, because right there, Elsen is available. You got to be able to find him.
Brian Grant checks back in for East Grand Rapids, and Chris Vittorini will get a rest with 3 fouls now.
Right there, Elsen should have had that basketball laying it in while Battier was up in the air.
Good look at the East Grand Rapids bench, and Chris Vittorini, a 6'6", 220-pound senior, playing his final high school game tonight. You know, even for the teams that win, the high school career ends for these seniors right here.
Nice place to end it, and certainly nice to end it as the winner.
Now Jim Spatafor trying to set it up, but he's got the equally quick Eddie Lampton on him. For the key, the 3-pointer is good by Gerald Conoway. That's 7 for him. That's the first 3-pointer tonight for Detroit Country Day. In fact, the first 3-pointer in a game.
Interestingly enough, before last night's game, in 25 games, Country Day had only knocked down 42 3-pointers. That's less than 2 a game. Now they got 7 last night. I think today's game is more indicative of the type of team they are. They're not really a 3-point shooting team, although Conoway got that one to go.
That foul was against Brian Grant, so he now has 1. And the bonus is on now for Country Day here the rest of the way with about 8:58 to play in the game. 58 seconds left in this quarter. So David Weber finally scores tonight. That's his first point. David Weber is a freshman. They have 3 freshmen who play on this team. 3 ninth-grade players who contribute: Weber, Javon Hunter, and Mike Mansell.
Oh,
and the
terrific.
tip up off the rebound by Conoway is good.
Conoway had more quickness than anybody else on the line that time. They did not block him out. He made them pay big time.
Now it's the biggest lead of the night here for Country Day. And remember that tip-in, because it went from 6 to 9 on that sequence. And suddenly East Grand Rapids is 9 down.
Reason to be concerned big time if you're East Grand Rapids, because Country Day has forged a 9-point lead, which is the biggest of the game, playing your style of basketball.
You can see the clock here. East Grand Rapids wants to get anything it can, just don't want to give the ball back up. Elsen, that's rejected. There's 6 blocks by Battier. And a whistle, and they're going to call a foul. Oh, they're going to call double dribble. And the ball goes the other way. So with 7 seconds to go, I don't know if Battier's more impressive on offense or defense, but I'll tell you one thing, he's around the ball a lot.
Well, I'll tell you, he certainly wreaks havoc in the paint area defensively.
Now East Grand Rapids figures it'll try to pressure the ball and make him take more time getting it up the floor for this shot. And they don't get it off. That's the end of the 3rd quarter. The ball will stand up there for a while. It's Detroit Country Day 35, East Grand Rapids 26. One of your sponsors tonight is the Michigan Abstinence Partnership.
Country Day with a 9-point lead. They build it up to that point, the biggest lead so far of the ball game. Marshall Thomas joins me again. You know, I don't think a lot of folks think enough about the fact of how hard it is to keep your poise when you are the favorite. The underdog, we talked a lot about their poise and the tempo they tried to get into the game, but Country Day really kept their cool. I didn't see too many bad shots, and now it's paying off.
Exactly. You know, in order to become as good as what that team is, they got to be disciplined and well coached. And what they did was they went inside to Battier. They were patient in making sure that they were going inside to him, and he had a very, very successful quarter that quarter.
8 minutes left in the 1995 basketball season. Go down to the floor, Tim and Greg.
This is that free throw right there, Gerald Conoway. No one's gonna block him out. He just slips right in, and when the ball comes up, lays it in, all in his rhythm. Look at this. That's a big play.
It is a big play, and that got him up to a 9-point lead here. And so Detroit Country Day can feel a little bit better here. And East Grand Rapids now has to hurry and rally here. East Grand Rapids only shooting 38% from the floor tonight, Country Day 45. A 9-2 run to end that quarter for the Yellowjackets really helped them out. The Yellowjackets are wearing blue. That's Kurt Keener, their 17-year veteran coach tonight. And so he can maybe relax a little bit more because he's been in a dogfight all night long. Now we'll see if East Grand Rapids can make something happen here to start the final 8 minutes of the 95 season.
Well, they were down 6, and they were able to work themselves back into a tie. This is 9. Still no reason to panic, but tremendous emphasis now rests on taking quality shots and then attacking the glass, but then getting back defensively.
Two very good defensive teams, and you're seeing Country Day have to rely on some defense tonight. Down the lane, whistle foul's called first, and that'll go against Country Day's Gerald Conoway, his second. Eddie Lampton closing out a superb career. And on the line now to shoot for East Grand Rapids is Colin Exelby, only a junior. He has 2 points tonight. He has not been on the line yet this evening.
Tough shot. Look at Battier. The wingspan of a 7-footer. Go after that one.
7:10 to play. First three-point attempt from East Grand Rapids tonight. They have been so patient, but now they may have to be a little bit more daring here on the offensive end to get back from 9 down.
That's the tough thing to do when you're not really a fast-paced team. You just can't afford to fall down by too much.
Jim Spatafor here looking for the right place to go with it. I think you're right, Gregory, even though I think Battier's got to work on freeing himself a little bit more. They do a good job of trying to deny him the ball, and he doesn't get a lot of looks in the half-court game. He gets putbacks, but he'll have to learn how to free himself a little better, and that's an art for him, isn't it? I mean,
you're right, because learning how to use your body inside to create position and make yourself a big target. Once he catches it, he knows what to do with it.
He looks a little more developed on the defensive end to me. He's very active. He stays away from the fouls. He knows how to get around the ball.
Which isn't all bad.
Not all bad at all. If you got a guy that's a mature defensive player, and he's still the leading scorer on the floor tonight. Now he's here at the top of the key. Let's see, he gets in congestion down below, partly because East Grand Rapids hustles so well.
Well, he's the focal point of their defensive effort, too. I mean, I think they come in knowing that they've got to bang him and be physical with him and limit his touches. I mean, every time he cuts down the lane, somebody's chucking him.
Yes, that's true. They are. He's getting pounded. Inside, good defense there by Brian Grant, who held his ground. And so that's 2 times Country Day's been down. They haven't scored. And they have not scored here in the first 2:40 of the last quarter, but East Grand Rapids hasn't scored until that one right there by Colin Exelby.
When they spread the floor and move off the ball, they've been able to get to the basket to get the layup.
35-28. Well, they lost a year ago here, 39-38. This is pretty much the same score, pretty close to it, at 35-28.
Well, that was a heartbreaker that they had to live with all summer and winter, losing that game at the buzzer. Then they take the football team, Tim, and they go to the state Class B finals, and they failed on a 2-point conversion and lose that game by 1. So these guys have just had it with coming in second.
Yeah, they have, and you have to be very good to come in second. Now Brian Grant is out. That foul was on Corbin also. That gives him 4 now. It's tough enough to guard this guy, Shane Battier, when you don't have any foul problems. Now they're going to have to guard him with their top guy with 4.
And you know what? All seriousness there. Hasn't cracked a smile. He's all about the business right now. A 4-point student, by the way, has yet to get a B in a class.
Wonder if he'll be recruited.
He could get they could save the athletic scholarship, give him an academic scholarship.
13 points for Shane Battier. And it's an 8-point game. So as Gregory says, East Grand Rapids is not in the business of scoring points in bunches quickly, but they may have to get close to that. Battier's done a good job on Corbin Elsen. He only has 8 points. That's half his average, and then the ball's tipped away. 4:43 to play, and the clock starts to become a bit of a factor. You'll keep your eye on it here. Win or lose, East Grand Rapids acquitted itself very well here tonight. They have hung tough all night long. And they have no plans to give up, as you can see. They deny Battier the ball, and they've all had a hand on him. And as Greg mentioned, they've got Corbin Elsen off of him now. He's chasing Jason Weber, and that's hard enough. They ought to give it to him because with 4 fouls, he can make his move on Corbin Elsen. Here's Weber inside. He's fouled. Oh, that got a great roll for him. Brother Chris never got a roll like that.
Well, he shot it up there softly, and if you shoot it up soft with the proper rotation, it'll cradle that rim sometimes and drop for you. Look at this. This is just freeing himself for a shot, and that ball was way off. You're right.
I don't know how that fell back
Not too many people get the roll like that.
That's the old Greg Kelser roll right there.
I didn't get any like that.
Vittorini with 4 fouls now. Corbin Elsen with 4 fouls. And it's a 10-point spread that may go more. Jason Weber with 6 points. Now East Grand Rapids struggling to score here. They only have 2 points here in the first 4 minutes of this 4th quarter.
Country Day came into this game looking for the quick knockout, but they've had to go the distance, and at this stage they appear to be wearing East Grand Rapids down just a little bit.
Oh, nice move inside by Eddie Lampton. Big time move.
Why doesn't he do more of that?
I agree.
And at this stage of the game, he's going to have to.
I mean, on what we've seen, I consider Lampton their best offensive threat because he can penetrate. He's got great speed.
Well, he needs to at least start that move, but always be aware of the defense. Are they coming? If they are, find the open man, drop it off. That recipient, though, must be ready to shoot the basketball.
38-30, East Grand Rapids trying to cut into that 8-point lead. Here's a 3-pointer. That one doesn't go. And Battier the rebound for Country Day.
There's really no need for them to be setting up for 3-point shots in this situation. Down 8, they go for 2. They're all of a sudden down 6 if they can convert. Why rush to 3 and give yourself no chance of getting an offensive rebound?
That's a first foul on Eddie Lampton here. And so with 3:11 to play now, Country Day trying to add to its 8-point lead. Well, here's Jim Battier on the line. He's 1 for 2 there tonight.
Completely drained that one.
Yep. Shane Battier's career high, 30 points this season. Weber's had 28. Battier had 17 in his side game this season. I'm just amazed they got 3 freshmen in the playing group. Now it's a 10-point game, 40-30. This is less than half the points that Country Day rang up last night on a good Stevensville Lakeshore team. They had to come get it tonight. Down the lane, Quinn is fouled first. They may have stopped at basket there, as he had a lane to go through, and that is Battier, and that'll be his 4th foul.
Country Day foul 32, Battier.
You know, Gregory, Battier reminds me of a player who's very heady, never makes a bad pass or mistake, never takes a bad shot. You can tell he's a mature player. He's very predictable, and he won't give the ball away. And, of course, he plays so hard, too.
He's all business as well.
We just want his dad to write a nice story about us, so.
Well.
And he is all business, which his dad isn't.
Well, you just blew it. There goes the good story. We're okay until you said that.
2:50 to play here. Colin Exelby has his first foul there, and so on the line now is Gerald Conoway. Country Day can almost just win this game on the free throw line. Conoway with 9 points tonight. points now for Gerald Conoway, so 2 of the Yellowjackets are now in double figures. Shane Battier with 11. This is 13, I mean.
42, John Worsfold.
PJ Quena will go out,
For PJ.
and Worsfold will come back in. The largest lead of the night, 41-30 for Detroit Country Day. We may have 2 Detroit state champions this year. Holy Redeemer in D and Country Day in B. And Conoway now, 7 of his 11 in the second half, and it's a dozen points, 42-30. All the way down, Eddie Lampton lays it up and in. 8 points for him. East Grand Rapids calls time with 2:43 to play, and they'll have to come up with something big here to pull this one out. You're watching the MHSAA tonight on Pass. Tim Staudt along with Gregory Kelser back here. A good look at this Jack Breslin Student Event Center, the final game of the day, the final 2:43 of the season. Gregory?
You know, roles are about to change right now for these 2 teams. You're going to have Detroit Country Day looking to take some time off the clock. Be patient, work the ball. All of a sudden, you're going to have East Grand Rapids trying to force the pace. They're going to pressure. They're going to try and get a turnover. They're going to try and force Country Day into some mistakes.
We'll share the emotion of these tournament games with you afterward with the medal presentations to both teams. This is going to be a case now, so be sure and stay tuned for that. You'll see the trophy presentations. We'll visit with some of the winning team players and the coach. They're going to have to put them on the line and then just hope, right? I mean, it gets pretty close to that at this point when you're 10 down.
Yeah, hope and be ready to get a rebound if, in fact, they do miss.
Conoway is only a 60% free throw shooter, but he's 2 for 2 tonight. He is a senior. Videotapes of this year's MHSAA Boys Basketball Semifinals and Finals are available for purchase through Advanced Video Service. Each game $22.95 and may be ordered by renting Advanced Video Service at 5547 Columbiaville Road in Columbiaville, Michigan, 48421. Allowed 2 to 4 weeks for delivery. Conoway trying to make 4 straight from the line. Lead is 11 with 2:40 to play in the game. East Grand Rapids has struggled to score second half, only 14, now 16 second half points. 6 now by Eddie Lampton in the second half, and he has 10.
Hey, Lampton, where's that stuff been all game? I mean, that's terrific there. Tough shot, pull up. They're going to have a whole lot more of that the last 2 and 20 in this game.
You're right, they can go ahead and work the clock, and there's the foul.
See, this is where the shot clock really hurts, not having it, because now teams can really milk the clock and force you to have to foul. But I still like the fact that they don't have it, because had they had a shot clock, who's to say that East Grand Rapids would even be in the game this close at this stage?
Absolutely. Okay, here's the Lampton bucket, 10 points for him tonight. So on the line once again is Gerald Conoway. 12 points for Gerald tonight, playing his final high school game, a senior.
Looking very nice at the line, knocking down 4 of the last 5.
The Yellowjackets have made 11 free throws tonight, all in the second half. They didn't attempt any in the first half. They're 11 out of 18 from the line. So Conoway does his job, and once again it's an 11-point lead, and it's up for Eddie Lampton to create some offense. For 3, and that was good. Nice three-pointer by John Worsfold. That gives him 5. It's the first 3 for the Pioneers of East Grand Rapids tonight, and it still keeps this game somewhat in doubt, an 8-point margin. One of your sponsors tonight on this timeout is True Value Hardware. Tim Staudt with Greg Kelser at the Breslin Center. Some of the fans have left, but Gregory, it's still an 8-point game with 2:07 to go.
Yeah, we haven't even reached the 2-minute warning yet. This was East Grand Rapids a moment ago. Again, Lampton bringing it up, finding the open man, and getting the shot off very quickly that time. Worsford, and that cuts it below 10. When you look up and see the deficit, single digits when you're trying to come back from a psychological standpoint, that's much better. They're energized. They look ready to try and pressure and create a turnover right now for Country Day.
They can let it all hang out in these final 2 minutes. Of course, Country Day necessarily isn't trying to score field goals, and while they want to work the clock, it's almost a counter to not try to shoot either. They basically just have to go ahead and shoot free throws, and there's the foul. And that one will go against Colin Axelby. He has 3. He's kind of the designated fouler out here, and that'll send Jim Spatafor to the line.
Axelby, his third.
Spatafor is 3 out of 4 tonight from the free throw line, all in the second half.
The line gets 1 shot. Bonus on.
You can see in this half, the Country Day has had to go to the line here. That's the risk you take when you only shoot free throws. If you make them great, all the way, Lampton will lay it up and in. Nobody got him. 12 for him, and it's a 6-point game, a 2-possession game. Milking the clock is basically taking Country Day out of its offense, but they get a man loose. Spatafor lays it up, and then he's fouled in the basket. I believe will count.
You know what? And even worse yet, they're going to call that an intentional foul. I'd like to see that again. There's an intentional foul call. Let's watch what happens. Now that was Lampton laying it up. And then Country Day throws it long right there. And that's Worsford trailing on the play. What?
He didn't even touch him.
What? Let's watch the bottom. Did the shoes hit? He fouled him just a little bit, if you want to call that a foul. Their feet hit. But there's nothing intentional about that.
I mean, how can you? I'm not sure yet. They may discuss this over again. The officials are discussing it right now.
It's too bad they can't come over and look at our monitor.
If they did, I doubt they'd call that an intentional foul because you can't.
Or a foul at all.
At any rate, Jim Spatafor is on the line. As Kurt Keener says, we'll take it. So now it's a 9-point game once again.
That's a tough break there for East Grand Rapids. Really tough break.
Spatafor takes advantage of the situation. He has 7 points, but not only do they have the 10-point lead, they have possession at the same time. That was an unfortunate call for East Grand Rapids there.
In a big game like this, too, it's very, very unfortunate.
And now they can milk the clock again, and that foul goes on Eddie Lampton, and that's his third. That'll be a 1-and-1.
See, all of that served to kick this thing back up into double digits. It's at 10 right now. And if Spatafor knocks this free throw down, these 2 free throws, you're looking at 12 points. It goes from 6 to 12 that quickly. All without East Grand Rapids ever having touched the ball.
Absolutely. Spatafor now on the line. He has 7 points, all in the second half. And out of the lineup goes Chris Vittorini. East Grand Rapids has really hung in there tough tonight. And this is pretty much all East Grand Rapids can do is put the Yellowjackets on the line. And boy, they've been there. That's why you shoot free throws for hours and hours. 51-39, they're gonna have to go with the threes here now. May have been a little makeup there. I'll tell you what, Corbin Elsen was going to the hole. Shane Battier gets it.
They ought to give him continuation, and then it'll be still short of a makeup. Right there, the foul occurs.
Yeah. Shane Battier couldn't figure that one out. But nonetheless, it's a common foul. It is not a 1-and-1 situation, and so East Grand Rapids will simply inbound the ball.
Country Day foul, 44, Jason Weber. His fourth.
I think they wanted to shoot 2 free throws here.
Foul.
They claim that he was shooting at the time. That's the question they have, was he shooting or not shooting?
Well, you know what? They're not even giving that foul to Battier. They're giving it to Jason Weber.
Well, then he had to be fouled beforehand. There's the 7th block in there by Shane Battier, and a foul is called against P.J. Quina here. So the final score here may look a lot different than what this game has been. It was 45-39. And when you're struggling to get back in the game, weird things happen. Let's see, they stop him here. No, this Battier can go to the moon.
Just Battier doing his thing. That's all.
Man, a sophomore. And I don't mean in college either. I mean, that's pretty good there.
Excellent timing. Came from a long way to block that shot. That was definitely a help side defense that time.
He is very graceful. Jason Weber misses, so here comes Eddie Lampton. Feeds Elsen down inside, and he gets it to go. Corbin Elsen has 10. Minute 10 to go. It's a 10-point game now. They're going to have to put Spatafor on the line. There are no options, and Colin Exelby picks up his 4th foul. So it has truly been a parade to the free throw line, which has slowed things down here in this 4th quarter. And again, it's been the only option East Grand Rapids has had. They are now 16 of 25 free throws tonight against East Grand Rapids 4 out of 6.
You're right, though. It's Eddie Lampton's a very exciting player.
I think he can play in college somewhere.
Yeah, certainly. And in the open court, he's very good.
He's very graceful. He's a good ball handler.
See, right now, he's having to play within a system. But when it was time to abandon the system, I think we got a real look at some of the things that he can do.
Yeah. And he's not on a team that takes care of all of his offensive talents because they don't have his speed. Now Country Day just is going to keep going to the line. John Worsfold picks up his 3rd. And so with 51.6 seconds to go, Detroit Country Day is polishing off a 4th state championship since 1989. They will have won it. The Webbers have been a big part of it. Chris got 3 of them, 89, 90, and 91, and his brothers will be a part of this apparently here in 1995.
Well, you know, Kurt Keener called Chris Webber a once-in-a-lifetime type player. Well, all of a sudden, Battier comes into the fold, and now he's got 2 once-in-a-lifetime players.
He's in his 2nd lifetime.
Yeah.
51-41. There's Battier's 8th block shot. Gets the ball away at the same time. How do you compare him with Antonio Smith of Flint Northern we saw earlier today?
Battier?
Yeah.
Well, different positions. I mean, he is a legitimate center, and as he continues to grow, I got to think when he ends up in college, he's going to be a legitimate center. He's terrific in that position. Here's that foul earlier, trying to stop the clock. East Grand Rapids. Antonio Smith is a swingman type player. Can play on the outside, can play on the perimeter, can put it on the floor, do a variety of things. I like them both. I tell you what, I'd like to have them both.
8 block shots ties the state championship game record. Don't tell him he needs one more to break on that handle, swat something out of there. That ties the state record. 8 block shots for Shane Battier to go with 13 points. And he really hasn't. They're a quiet 13.
Well, it was about as much as he was going to score in this type of game. I mean, if it had been wide open spread court, he probably could have had much more.
He got Elsen to miss that one. He didn't block it, but he intimidated the shot. He may get one yet. No, Elsen will lay it up and in. And quickly they'll take one more timeout here. That's 12 for Elsen. And so East Grand Rapids has its final timeout. 53-43. We'll keep it here and thank all of you for watching today. Four state champions. Watch this again. Now they don't want to foul here.
You know what? You asked me about him, and we talked about his defensive capabilities, Shane Battier. I'll say this much. To have that part of his game more advanced than the offense right now is not bad, because the defense and the timing and the discipline from a shot blocking standpoint, you can't teach that.
Absolutely.
You got to have that. The offense, the moves, making yourself available, being able to create space for yourself, that you can teach, that he will learn. He's going to be a terrific, complete player.
He has 12 rebounds tonight. He's 6 out of 8 from the floor. He has put together a huge game tonight, and he has blended in with this team very nicely. So only Battle Creek Central could defeat Detroit Country Day this season, and you think those Yellowjackets cheerleaders aren't happy about it? They're real happy about it. Our congratulations to Principal Brad Gilman and his staff at Country Day High School if this continues as a Detroit Country Day win. Our congratulations also to Pat Quena, the principal at East Grand Rapids, whose team got it all the way again, but that sign may say it all. East Grand Rapids is out of timeouts now, so all that is left to determine is the final score. But this was no 50-point blowout.
Country Day timeout.
Country Day doesn't even really need to huddle up here. That was just to prevent the ball from being turned over. But the timeout was called anyway. Where are you going from here? Oh, you're going to the Final Four.
No, I'm not going to the Final Four. I'm going to take some time off. I'll watch the Final Four.
Oh, okay. We thank all of the fine people of the Michigan High School Athletic Association for their help once again on this 70th annual State High School Basketball Championship, a 3-week event with exactly 700 schools this year. Still is as big as it ever was, Gregory.
Very, very impressive. And kudos to the Michigan State people who have done a great job hosting this tournament.
They do a wonderful job here at the Jack Breslin Student Event Center, and the tournament will be back here next year at the same time, the same weekend, as the NCAA Regional Hockey Tournament will be played across the street. So it'll be buzzing here on the campus a year from now again.
Speaking of the Final Four, who you got?
Well, my four are in jeopardy now because I understand Kentucky lost to North Carolina tonight. I had them in Wake Forest. Wake Forest is gone. I had UCLA and Arkansas.
And ultimately winning?
Well, I had UCLA or Kentucky. I guess I'm going to have to take UCLA. They look good today, too.
They really did.
Yep, they did.
I had Arkansas because, you know, they are the defending champion with just about everybody back, and no one thought they could get in there and do it. And they're winning close games. I'll stay with them.
Country Day 17 for 36 from the field, almost 50%. They only took 36 shots in this game.
Now that ball's going to come back out.
It's got to come all the way to the end,
yeah.
With no time on the clock expiring. So I would suspect here that they'll want to try to get a quick three here, or almost anything, because Country Day don't want to foul. So anything near the basket's going to be allowed to go in. 26.9 seconds here. I'm tempted to say the shot clock's off after doing so many college games, and it's true, the shot clock is off.
You wouldn't be wrong.
I wouldn't be wrong. Here's Eddie Lampton from way downtown, and the foul. And that may be 5 on John Worsfold. He just ended the year for himself, and ended his career. He's a senior. I believe John Worsfold has 5 fouls.
Well, this quarter right now is taking longer than the first 3 combined.
Yeah, this just broke the state championship record for the longest fourth quarter. I mean, I'll tell you, I think we started this at 8:40 and it's 9:19, but now some of the East Grand Rapids kids who don't normally play are getting a chance to get into the game. They're seniors. Ryan Norton comes in and Eddie Lampton goes out. He had 12 points tonight. Corbin Elsen had 12 points. He'll be back. 53-43. And there goes Shane Battier out of the game. 13 points for him. This was not an individual's big scoring night. These were 2 well-balanced teams. Country Day's going to celebrate big time here in another 20 seconds. Jim Spatafor is still in the game for the Yellowjackets. And on the line now is Jason Carano, who has not scored yet. He's a senior. Get in the block. Here's Corbin Elsen. And it won't go. Tipped up. Won't go. And then they'll jump it up, and the possession arrow goes back to Detroit Country Day.
All that possession ball. Into
10 seconds away.
10 seconds away from the big celebration here tonight. And once again, we're getting more players into the lineup here. It's just the longest fourth quarter. When you get them, but it's important they all get into the game,
Oh,
too.
sure.
Even if it's only for a few seconds of fame here. Well, East Grand Rapids hung tough. This was no 50-point blowout. No, everybody thought this might be a huge lopsided game, and it was anything but. East Grand Rapids gave them all they wanted. They haven't had games in the tournament this tough. They never trailed. It was tied 5 times.
Wow, that almost went in.
Yep. I mean, they're going to get in the scorebook somehow. Some way, somehow. With 3.8 seconds to go, one of those 10 guys out there is going to get in the scorebook. Whether it's a field goal attempt, a foul, an assist,
Or a turnover.
or a turnover. And Detroit Country Day as the Class C State High School basketball champion, the second Detroit area school to win a state title today, joining Holy Redeemer. 53-43 our final. This is the MHSAA on pass.
Country Day wins the Class B championship here with a fine crowd on hand, a very spirited contest. Underdog East Grand Rapids battling right to the end. But finally, the Yellowjackets' talent prevailed. Now let's go down to the PA announcer, Eric Forseth, for the award ceremony.
Trophy and medals. Let's acknowledge these 2 fine teams for their achievements this year and their play here this evening. At this time, we direct your attention to center court, where Randy Salisbury, principal of Britton-Macon High School, a member of the Michigan High School Athletic Association Representative Council, will make the award presentations. First, let us honor the runner-up in Class B, the Pioneers of East Grand Rapids. First with their individual medals. Number 12, P.J. Quina. #21, Ryan Norton. #24, Mike Edison. #32, Mark Sweeney. #33, Andy Blaze. #35, Steve Morris. #45, Brian Grant. #11, Eddie Lampton. #22, Colin Exelby. #40, Corbin Elsen. #42, John Worsfold. And #44, Chris Vittorini. And accepting the runner-up trophy in Class B, Coach Scott Tompkins. Congratulations to the Pioneers of East Grand Rapids for an outstanding season. And now for the 1995 Michigan High School Athletic Association Class B champions, the Yellowjackets of Detroit Country Day. First, we will present individual medals. Number 4, David Burrell. Number 10, Ben Upward. 15, David Weber. 20, Javon Hunter. 22, Alex Gregor. 30, Brian Kupso. 34, Mike Mansell. 40, Brett Insland. 42, Matt Kives. 50, Jim Insland. 24, Gerald Conoway. 25, Jason Carano. 32, Jim Spatafor. 44, Jason Weber. And 55, Shane Battier. And accepting the championship trophy, Coach Kurt Keener. Congratulations to the Yellowjackets of Detroit Country Day, the 1995 Class B Boys Basketball Champions.
Country Day celebrates the Class B crown. Keep it right here, though. One of your sponsors is the Michigan Abstinence Partnership. We hope you've enjoyed our basketball coverage here on Pass today, and hope you'll join us Sunday afternoon at 4:30 when we conclude our winter sports coverage with the Class A championship match in the 1995 MHSAA Lower Peninsula Girls Volleyball Tournament. Your Class B champion is Detroit Country Day, a 53-43 winner over East Grand Rapids. Now for Tim Staudt, Gregory Kelser, Marshall Thomas, and our production crew from TCI Cablevision of Oakland County, I'm Rick Berkey. So long, everybody.